My name's Wyatt. Thanks so much for joining us here on a Monday, starting off your new work week here as we are off and rolling here today. My music's not off and rolling, though. I don't know what the deal with that is. All right, there we go. We got it up and running here. We are joined by some special guests here in the 9 o'clock hour. Again, another full week of special guests here, which we're always happy to have guests joining us here, and especially today as we've got Jason and Amber joining us with the West Burlington School District here. They are here to chat with us a little bit about some big things that are happening here. But before we get into that, guys, appreciate you guys stopping by. How are you guys doing?
Thank you. Can't complain. A little bit change in the weather from last week, so we're appreciating that fact.
It's amazing how much better mood you can be in when the weather is significantly better. I know I was certainly in a better mood getting up and at 'em here this morning. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some things that you guys got going on here. You guys have got a little bit of exciting news coming up. You guys got a little expansion coming to the early learning program there at West Burlington, which is always exciting. You know, you're wanting to teach the younger kids out there and expanding that a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the expansion and exactly what it's going to be covering here.
So we are going to be expanding our early learning offerings, so really developing the concept of an early learning center and focusing on that continuum of care and that continuity of programming as far as the curriculum goes.
Yeah.
And so we're going to expand into a 3-year-old preschool option, which is something that it's a pay-per model, which is not covered by state, so parents will have to pay for that.
Okay.
But we also are going to be expanding our 4-year-old offering, which is that statewide voluntary preschool, to include a four-year-old option.
Oh, okay.
Or a full-day option.
Oh,
and
okay.
So understanding that kids develop at a different rate.
Yeah.
Some kids may not quite be ready to start at full day, but some students, some learners, may be cognitively at a place in time that they can benefit from that full day offering. So.
Yeah, and like you said, it's because a lot of kids, some kids are ready to go at an early age, and some kids are just not. And I think that's kind of a good reason as to why you guys are kind of expanding it. But Amber, what are some other reasons that you guys might be expanding this early learning program then?
Sure. I just think if we expand more options, especially with adding a 3-year-old, it gives us another year to develop relationships and start to connect with families. And it also gives those kids more options. There's a lot of preschools in our area. And as a kindergarten teacher, we still see kiddos that just come to us straight from home or daycare. And we've got a lot of evidence and data that shows those kiddos who come from a high-quality preschool are much more ready for the routines of kindergarten away in August.
Yeah, so. It helps to get them kind of ahead of things, maybe not so they're not behind the 8 ball, shall we say there? Because kids when they're behind that 8 ball, it stresses them out a little bit. There, we think about stresses as adults, but the kid stresses that's a stressful thing, especially if you don't have that early learning there underneath your belt. We're talking with Jason and Amber here from the West Burlington School as they're going to be expanding their early learning program here. Now, you guys have been able to, like we said, do partnerships. You guys get some partnerships there with those kiddos, and that's a very important thing there, obviously.
And Amber has really been the advocate and the driving force behind looking at what we can do to better make it work into a working family schedule.
Okay.
Understanding that drop-off times, pickup times don't always align with the start of the school day. And when you have your early learners at 3-year-old and 4-year-old, you can't leave them home alone. So I'm going to let Amber talk about the advocacy and what she envisions for what we like to call wraparound programs.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Well, we like to meet kids and families where they're at, right? And so we have a couple options for wraparound care that we were able to partner with the YMCA. So we'll be able to bus kids to and from the Y if they need that option to have their kiddo at before and after preschool. And we also are partnering with Kids Zone, the hospital, daycare, and preschool center to transport kids to and from there.
So, I mean, you guys have got some great folks jumping on board. Obviously, they see the importance of it. So, obviously, it's a very, very important thing to get these kids learning as early as possible there and to help them out in any way they can. We're talking with Jason and Amber from the West Burlington School District. And speaking of, just how important things are, there's something pretty important that's coming up on the March ballot that I know you want to talk about there, Jason. Something that, folks either have heard of, or maybe if they haven't heard of it, something that's very important, especially to you guys there at West Burlington.
Sure. On March 4th, there's an important vote that will take place over at the West Burlington St. Mary St. Joseph Parish Hall, and it's for the renewal of the voter PEPL. And PEPL is really stands for Fiscal Plant and Equipment Levy. It's a levy, it's a tax levy, but that levy has been in place for over 10 years.
Right.
And during that time, it's $1.34 per $1,000 valuation. But what that has allowed us to do is over that last 10 years, we've generated close to $2 million in revenue.
Wow.
And that money can only be used for our physical plant and equipment. So our buildings, grounds, and transportation vehicles. So
right.
Without that money, so we generate roughly about $350,000 a year in revenue from PEPL. But that allows us to, with aging buildings, keep them up to date and provide a great learning experience, an equitable learning experience. So teachers have the tools in the environment to provide high quality instruction, and that we are going to have buildings buildings that are going to function and be here for the long term, in which we want. And when you look at it, the things that we've done over time, we've redone our roofs, we've expanded our entryway over at the high school, we've updated our football field, we've utilized bleachers, we've enhanced our cafeteria. So without that PEPL renewal, then we're going to have to look for revenue in other places.
Right.
And that comes from our general fund, which then impacts people and programming.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things changing there at West Burlington, which is obviously a very good thing. And, that's a very important thing. So keep that in mind when that vote takes. That's March 4th, you said, right?
March 4th. And if anybody wants to know any information about that, we're going to have an open house on this Wednesday at 6 o'clock at the high school. So our director of facilities, Nate Prickard, will be there, Amanda Hancock from the board, myself as superintendent, and people can ask questions and dig a little deeper if they want.
Yeah, very important stuff. We're talking with Jason and Amber from West Burlington Schools. Anything else you guys want to cover before we let you guys go here today?
No, we're excited about what this has to bring to the future of education in West Burlington. We know that early learning is a foundation that all other learning is built on.
Yeah, absolutely. And if people want to get any information about your expansion into the early learning into those younger kids, where do they get that information at?
They can go to our Facebook page. They can go to our district website. There's a banner at the top that talks about the preschool. They can certainly call the district office and ask for me, or anybody there can provide that information, or they can reach out to the elementary school where this will be housed, and they can provide additional information.
He's Jason Wester, Amber Springsteen joining us here as well this morning. Guys, we appreciate you coming by and kind of letting us learn a little bit more and kind of the exciting changes that are coming to West Burlington. Very exciting stuff for you guys. We appreciate you coming by here this morning.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Look forward to, always good chatting with you guys here. And like I said, when we're talking about stuff happening, the changes in our community, very exciting stuff. Got some good stuff lined up. Ella Langley right around the corner right after Cole Swindell. Here's Forever to Me on the Bull.